Hello, and welcome to my happiness practice. My name is Lila, and I am a happiness practitioner. What that means today is that I am doing my best to do things that bring me joy. Um, Sometimes it is easy to not do things. And I think that is what we will talk about later. Um, but the practice is not only to do focus on the things that bring joy, that make me happy, that feed me as much as I am feeding it, but also to get up and do those things. So I like to do this video working on some of the exercises that I try and do every day for my daily practice, and then talk about something, meander about a specific topic. So the first thing I would like to do is spend a moment in appreciation. Yes, I have to look at my list to tell me what I'm doing today. Because otherwise I could just go all over the place. What I like to do every day when I first wake up is either notice something beautiful or spend a couple moments in appreciation of myself. I am the one who has to live my life. I am the one who has to live with myself. And one of the best ways I have found to get me moving on to something else is to remember the things I have already done that bring me joy. So taking a moment every day to thank myself, to notice my wins the day before or the week before or whatever, is very, very good for helping me move forward. So just to take a minute or two and sit and think about either the things that are around us that we appreciate, the beauty that is there, the memories that bring smiles to our face, the things we have gratitude for, or the things we are proud of in the last day or the last week or even the last month. Things that we are grateful that we have done, been a part of, experienced. And it can be as simple as getting out of bed this morning. It can be as big as applying for or accepting something. So just breathing gently and contemplating being in this moment of beauty and appreciation. I think freedom has a lot to do with appreciation. Because if we're free to do something, whether it is something as simple as decorating the walls, well, I guess I'm going to be doing a lot of simple and whatever, or more complex as the freedom to express ourselves in whatever fashion. Um, there's a lot to appreciate right there. I guess appreciation can come down to the fact of not only am I able to do it, I have the ability or the skills, but I also have the space or the time or the permission um, to do it. I am allowed to do it. So there are a lot of levels to appreciation. Okay. Second thing I always like to do in the happiness practice is to focus on what I want to feel. Manifesting for me, and if you're like me, is a lot about the feeling. What does it feel like? Can I connect with the feeling of something coming into being? And having a better world is definitely about feeling better in myself, feeling loved, feeling connected, feeling free, feeling like it's okay for me to have whatever it is that I'm asking for, feeling like it is possible. So, for the feelings exercise, we're going to do it in three parts. Three parts. First part is to simply write down for a minute what I want to feel today. Doesn't have to be related to anything. Just whatever comes into the brain. And it doesn't technically have to be feeling words. I want to feel happy. It can also be I want to feel, well, mine tend to be I want to feel slender. I want to feel proud of myself. I want to feel comfortable in a chair, or I want to feel confident when I drive, or any sort of thing. What do I want to feel? Okay, now pick something, one of those things that wants to be felt, whether it is, well, whatever it is, pick one. Um, I think I'm just going to go with physically comfortable for mine. And the next minute, we're going to spend writing down how it feels physically. And this can be a tricky one because um, part of the feeling exercise is to remove the focus from the problem Because we're not saying, I don't want to feel depressed. We are saying, I want to feel uplifted, confident, at peace. Which is not necessarily the opposite, but more the feelings that we are striving for. I want to feel happy. I want to feel gleeful. I want to feel sarcastic. I want to feel. And I think that when we see these things in others, like when we're watching a movie and we put a label on how a person is being or behaving, we call that something, and we kind of get a physical feeling of it at the same time as a mental image. So a feeling of somebody being confident, we see them, if you're like me, somebody who is standing tall and head up and shoulders back and striding forward, hands out and chest out and walking into the sunshine with the music playing, a thing of confidence and achievement and awesomeness. So we have mental images of the physical attributes that go along with these feelings. So part of the feeling exercise is to translate that into our own bodies. What does it feel like physically to be comfortable in the body, which is actually going to be a little difficult because that seems to feel like a lot of not this. Now, some comfort is a release of tension, and that tends to be something I focus on because I seem to have a lot of tension still, and we are working on it. It is actually working out. But a release of tension, but all right, I'm going to have to not do the comfortable in the body and instead be a little more specific. Well, I'll go with my usual slender and flexible because I know what that feels like, both physically and also the sense of confidence and accomplishment that comes with the physical sensation. So, a minute of what does it feel like physically to achieve, to be in the feeling space of whichever word we choose. Okay, now we get to put our imagination caps on and just sit for a moment with that feeling, with the feeling that we want to feel, and with the physical imagining of it. If the thing I wanted to feel was an actual physical thing, like this slender and flexible is, I know that along with feeling more space around my body, along with feeling like it's easier to breathe, there is also that feeling of accomplishment, especially when I imagine myself stretching. There's that feeling of glee of, yes, I went farther this time, of I finally did it. There is that underlying fear that it might not feel as accomplished next time, or I might fall back into an old rut. There are feelings, there are so many feelings that connect with our physical body. So we're just going to take a minute and be in the moment, the feeling that we want to feel. So really sit in your space. How does one really sit? Well, there's a bringing the attention into the body, into this moment here. Breathing deep. Following the breath in. And just being here and being in the feeling that we want to feel. Thank you for joining me in that exercise. There is a longer explanation of that in the Happiness, My Practice, Staying Put video that has a date of May 18th, 2023. The first half an hour, I think, I go into more explanation of each of the exercises. It's kind of like an intro too. So, if you would like to delve a little more into that, the important thing for me that I often forget to say beforehand is that sometimes it's not easy to sit and feel it, especially when there's all sorts of other things going on outside. Sometimes it's just a matter of thinking that I'm feeling it. Thinking the words that I would be thinking at the time that feeling is fully achieved. Thinking the words of what I want to be feeling, because our focus then goes on to that as opposed to on to the things we would like to release. So, happiness practice. What's it? Oh, doing things. Well, it's an interesting thing. Feeling slender and flexible has been a big one for me for a while. It is the best way to describe how I want my body to be, which this has been in quite a few years of working with my body and trying to figure out what it is actually trying to tell me. And there are words that are hard to use, hard to hear, hard to say, like thin versus fat, even curvy. They don't adequately describe things because I don't feel fat. I don't feel how I think fat feels. Makes sense. Fat in my head has this kind of slimy, glumpy feeling. I feel immobile sometimes. I feel unenergetic. I feel uncomfortable in clothing or uncomfortable sitting or uncomfortable walking for a certain amount of time or uncomfortable doing yoga because things get in the way. So I want to feel comfortable in my body. And that comfort is feeling slender because slender implies that there isn't stuff getting in the way. It also implies in my head that things fit well. Slender has this nice A-line image. A-line, is that right? Anyway, horizontal image, as opposed to like an hourglass shape. Slender can be any gender. So I don't have to be wearing a specific type of clothing to connect with feeling slender. And slender is not thin. I also have issues with thin because for me, everyone I have seen or connected with continuously that is thin, to me, I get this automatic vibe of unhealthy. That thin has to do with illness. So I don't want to be thin slash ill. I do not want to be uncomfortable. I want to be slender. I want to be flexible. Then we move into graceful because flexible moves to graceful for me in my head because I'm comfortable in my body. Therefore, I am connecting well with the world around me and I'm not stubbing my toes into things and I am not off balance. I am comfortable. I am slender. I am flexible. I am graceful. So, connecting with the feeling has slowly, slowly led to me actually doing something which feels like I'm finally positive again. Now, this is something that has happened multiple times, which can be very disheartening because underneath that feeling of achievement is the fear of falling back into the old rut. But each time I get to believe that this is the time, and each time I believe that this is the time, I get closer to it actually being the time. I know there is not a final time. I know that there is a continual working and being and feeling, because feeling comfortable in my body today could be something totally different than feeling comfortable in my body 6 weeks from now, hopefully. Because today is simply about having a little more space between me and the armrests in an airplane seat. Whereas 6 months from now, being comfortable in my body may be about me walking down the airport in heels. So being comfortable is going to change. The bar always changes because our abilities, our foundations continue to change because our experiences continue to add to them. But believing that this is the time is, I don't know how to express it, but it is something that happened a year ago, actually. A year ago, I was maybe 2 years ago in a place physically that I could look into the mirror and say, oh my goodness, look at the change. And part of it was scary because of the whole thinness equals sickness thing. So I'm having to work through that. And I was not thin in that sense of the word. I was not 100 pounds at 5'4" and looking like I was starving to death. I was simply more slender than I had been before, had I seen myself in the mirror before. But the thing I remember, the thing that connected me to the possibility, the knowledge that it was possible and I would achieve this, was that I could feel my cheekbones. And if you know me and know my family, you know that cheekbones are a an issue that we have. We do not technically have easily identified cheekbones. So the fact that I could feel them in there and know that they exist was a moment of possibility, of the door opening, of the light shining, of I can do this. Now, since then, I have slowly and steadily eaten my way back to a very uncomfortable weight, uncomfortable for me. And so have been working mentally to return to that feeling of not only being more comfortable, being more slender, feeling more flexible, but of feeling possible, that I was not only here, but I could go further. I could achieve goals I wanted. Now, when I think about it as I'm talking about this, I'm realizing that some of the things that may have stopped me and freaked me out were things that stopped fitting. Yay, clothes become more comfortable to wear, and I can return to some of the other clothes that I like to have. But jewelry changes. Slender means fingers change size, which means rings are not sitting the same way they were, which means that things I was used to wearing a specific way, I wasn't wearing anymore. And that was very uncomfortable. That was a shocker. I wasn't sure what to do because I had habits about the jewelry I was wearing and things attached to those habits and that jewelry. Specific stones mean specific things, help in specific areas. See all the malas that you can't see over there. Malas, specific types. Thinner wrist meant that the wrapping around them was different and they might fall up or down my hand in a way I wasn't used to anymore. Also at the time, my hair was thinner also. It was much, much thinner. It was scary thinner. And there was that crisis at the time. So I am working to separate the belief that a more slender body also means more slender hair. There's also the accepting it if it is, but I'm pretty sure I've gotten the right combination of keratin or biosil or whatever it is that encourages hair growth. And beautiful nails, by the way. I'm happy about that. And so now I can return my focus back to a healthy body, a comfortable body. So I cannot tell you what happened to bring me to today. It feels like a moment of a frustration when I was like, you know what, I am done. I am done eating. I am done trying it this way. I'm going to do something drastic and try a detoxification. With the knowledge that I'm not going to stay at this low level of calories forever. But I really need to separate what my body is feeling from how I am interpreting it. I am on my third day of severely reduced calories, and it will go back up tomorrow. This is not a cry for help in that fashion. It has been fascinating because I have not once woken up with the feeling that I associate with hunger. Does not mean I haven't woken up hungry. It means that I have not woken up with the feeling in my body, the physical feeling that I associate with hunger, which means that all the times that I have eaten something in an attempt to ease that feeling was not hunger. It was something else, fear, anxiety, happiness, physical pain, a different form of discomfort, but it was not hunger. Hunger, it turns out, or I am confirming, definitely manifests as kind of fuzzy brained. And not necessarily connected to the physical world. When I'm hungry, it is easy to go inside because this kind of lightness in my head, something I've always associated with connecting with the other world, with the divine, with the spiritual. So it is a place that's nice to be if I want to meditate, if I want to sit and contemplate the garden, if I want to be part of a bigger world, then this is a lovely headspace to be in. But if I want to get up and physically go out and do things, that takes a little more energy, which is why the doing things came up earlier. And I'll be honest, I can't remember how. Maybe it was just the appreciation of being able to get out and do things, having the freedom to do things. I am working on separating the feeling of being hungry and or being content to just sit here with the feeling of wanting to get things done. If I want things done, like flowers planted, I need to get up and go do it. I want to do those things that bring me joy. So I need to want to connect with the motivation or the energy or the impetuous or whatever that gets me out of the seat and outside and starting to do something. With the knowledge that I may only do it for 15 minutes, but I will at least have gone and done something. And that rests on the knowledge of previous doing things that it brought me joy. It brings me joy to plant flowers. It brings me joy to hang things in my room. It brings me great joy to see the things I've hung in my room. It brings me joy to go to bed at night and know that I have taken one more step in feeling more comfortable in my body. So, the happiness of doing things rests on the knowledge that certain things, having done certain things, brings me joy. Rests on the knowledge of how it actually feels, how that joy feels, how that muscles of having done something feels, how the having achieved something feels in all of its aspects, including the pride, the kind of smirkiness, and the fear that it might not last. And getting up and doing things, all of that, the feelings rests on having just gotten up and done it. So it is an energy cycle, a thing that feeds itself. I am trying something to see how it feels to do it. I am using that feeling to take me back to trying something else or to not trying. Yes, it's definitely lunchtime too. But I hope that made sense. And I hope that I get this video posted in sometime. I'm still working out the logistics, which is why things tend to be off a week. I apologize. But yeah, I'm doing my best. And for that, I am very grateful to me. So next video, if you are following them, will be the tea with the goddess on the full moon. And then the next video for the happiness practice will probably be a week after that. We will see what happens. But thank you very much. I hope you are having a fabulous day. And most of all, I hope that you are able to connect with a way, a feeling, a gratitude, an appreciation, a doing that makes your world a better place. Because the better your world, the happier you are. And the happier you are, the better the world in general. And the better the world in general, the happier I am. Thank you. Take care.